Hey, I'm Kosmonic, and this is the making of my music video, Extraterrestrial.
She's extraterrestrial.
So about 14 months ago, I was just trying to film some short video promos for just Instagram and TikTok. And so I just thought we would just go downtown Denver at the art museum and just film out there. And then after I started editing the footage and we all looked at it, we just thought, man, this could be a really cool music video if we sort of came up with a plot. Every time I write a Kosmonic song, I already have a story in my head about what the music video would be. And out of all the music video ideas, I felt like this one was actually like we could actually do it. So I'm going to watch the video here and kind of explain things along the way. So the first shot there, I did use AI and some flames to kind of create that scene and some thunder and added rain to it. I love this shot of the Men in Black because when I did this shot, this was just for the scene where they're running in the field towards the camera, and I was about to say action, and they're just kind of getting ready to run. And I didn't even know if I was going to have them at the beginning of the video, but it just kind of elevated the story, I think, a little bit more. And so I had to like rotoscope them both out and put a desert behind them to give that appearance that we're sort of in the desert of where she crash lands. Again, I used AI to kind of create these soldiers. It would have been impossible, I think, for me to find some people to do that. And again, I just kind of repurposed this shot from later in the scene to kind of elevate the beginning here. When she's walking, that was the first vision I had in my head of these black boots walking down the city. And yeah, so all these beginning shots, except for Emma, the secret agent here with the briefcase, was shot in just one night where I didn't even know this was going to be a music video yet. This is the wall Billy Rood found. He said, I think this is really great. And there was just a light already there. And it was just this apartment building next to the art museum. Shot here down the alleyway with all the graffiti. We just, before the show started, Madeline, Billy, and I just found this alleyway next to the venue. And we just started to film there. It looked great at the beginning there. But when she first shows up, Billy actually like blew his vape pen into the camera there to make it look like there was some fog. This door that we're walking into is not even the venue. It's just like some random door to some other place. And then once we got inside, this is when our other friend, John, was playing. Shout out to Prismatic. And then the shot here of Emma opening the suitcase and looking at the extraterrestrial object. This was done in the basement of the venue. And God, doing the eyes on Madeline was extremely difficult because I had no tracking points. If you are into After Effects, if you do any After Effects editing, there's no tracking markers on anywhere because the light is changing constantly and there's flashing and there's no consistent source to track. So I had to manually add those lights until I rediscovered Mocha AE, and I think I matted her outline, and Mocha was able to do it, but I couldn't do it any other way. And it just kind of got me there, and then I had to manually adjust it. That's Austin Collins there, aka AE5. I had no idea he would even be in the video. I just tried it out and just, that works. My favorite shot, I have so many favorite shots, but the shot of Emma just turning her head, like that was just so cool. I just couldn't get over how cinematic it turned out to be, especially with the color change, the random colors that we had a LED light there that were strobing on her face and changing different colors, and it just strobed in the best way possible. And then I actually shot the scene with her in the briefcase in the Men in Black behind where I work, and then them opening the suitcase at the same time. I just said open the suitcase and just look at her at the same time, and they just nailed it. And then Emma did a great job playing Ted. Also had to like mask out that ball manually in Premiere, make it more clear. It was just because I added this red tint, and then this portal took me a couple of hours to do. I had to really do some different masking techniques in Photoshop, and I basically used Photoshop, Premiere, and After Effects to make that effect happen, and layered some lightning on it. And then I love this scene of the Men in Black running with that light right there behind them, that light post, that one light post. It's just so cinematic. Yeah, this is all just behind where I work. Even this field is out behind where I work. Lots of layering, lots of lens flares. Again, the eyes were really hard. This was a last minute thing that I added to the video, was to add the red to light. And the reason I did that is basically everyone views extraterrestrials, a lot of people do, I think, as like demons or evil or some other type of scary thing. And I want people to take away that, yeah, they're other creatures and, you know, they're from other planets, but like, how do they automatically become a demon just because they're not from Earth? I wanted to showcase that, you know, the red eyes represent sort of like a lot of an anthropocentric human viewpoint of how we view extraterrestrials, because they're always in a horror movie and they're trying to kill us or eat us or destroy us or take us over or farm us or whatever the hell. I just think that's complete nonsense. I think if they're highly advanced, that means they have same emotions probably as we do, or something, you know, near it, I think. And yeah, it was just really fun to edit that last sequence where she's floating up to the red orb ship. And then all this was just like shot out in I had a rotoscoper out here again, out in the field. Yeah, and that's it. I think just all the pieces came together. It took 14 months. I started filming October 2023 and then released the song in November, and then started filming some other scenes around Denver a couple months later. My friend Austin was playing a show, and I guess we kind of thought, maybe that would be a cool idea if we could possibly shoot some footage there. Just started to film some brief shots of my friend Madeline and myself with the help of Billy. A shout out to Billy Rood, who helped, and he also just has a great eye. He found a lot of locations around the art museum that I would have never thought to ever shoot at. For example, the wall where I'm singing looks like we brought a light, and all it was just this kind of huge light lighting up the side of an apartment building next to the art museum. And it looks like, you know, we had a whole crew there, but it was just Billy, myself, and Madeline. No light required. A lot of it didn't have lights, and that's all thanks to Sony's A7S III, which is what I'm filming on right now, which is excellent for shooting low light footage. So the rest of the locations that I filmed at were shot actually in Louisville, Colorado, right behind where I work. And there was this like tunnel, which I thought would be kind of a cool sort of representation of a portaling out of the nightclub to sort of get sort of a big way to just exit that scene. And it was Madeline's idea actually to have just her automatically transform into a spacesuit. I really just kind of envisioned her still being in her disguise. And then the rest was filmed behind this savanna where it overlooks Boulder. Then we just brought out a red light. I brought this light right here and had a battery generator and plugged that thing in and had the help of Ruben. Shout out to Ruben for helping me with that light that day. And I shot the rest.
What is that? What is that?
What? You see something?
What? That was like a ball of fire
Where?
flying through the air. I just saw it.
Shit. Oh, I see it. I see it.
You do? Where?
Oh my God, I got it on film.
You did?
Where?
One of the things that was really funny during the Men in Black scenes was the first night we filmed, it started snowing. So we had to stop filming that night, and it was around during Thanksgiving. So we had to reschedule the shoot for 2 weeks later. Then 2 weeks later, we started filming where we left off, and it wasn't snowing that night, but the wind on the Men in Black's clothing, that's not a wind machine, that's just wind blowing at like 80 miles per hour. We're so lucky that it was that windy, but I also just feel terrible because they were freezing. They were just freezing out there. And the downside of it was James' hat kept falling off. And here's some clips of his hat just blowing off when we were running in the wind. But it was like one of those moments of like, wow, this is really hard right now. But it ultimately came out for the better. So the whole origin story of Extraterrestrial, I normally just try to write the instrumental first. And then I think to myself, what is the song saying? And I just heard, she's extraterrestrial. And so after just kind of hearing that in my head on the chorus, the rest of the song just kind of writes itself. But the idea of she's extraterrestrial is that she's walking among us. She's disguised as a human being. If you're familiar with any of the UFO culture, there is a type of extraterrestrial race called the Nordics, which apparently are just look a lot like us and they could blend into society. And I think sort of this idea of that they're just walking, down the Las Vegas Strip, just kind of like observing and trying to see what we're all about, just kind of humors me. And if it's true, that's just bonkers, Who's to say, that life didn't evolve on a different planet and they look just like us? A lot of people would think that's kind of astronomically kind of insane to think that, but I feel like the pattern kind of repeats around the universe, so I wouldn't be surprised. What planet they're on, I have no idea. It also kind of stems from Paul Hellyer, who was the Ministry of Defense for Canada, I think during the 50s. And he's talked about the Nordics, and apparently he has some insight into these beings and that they're just one of many races that kind of walk among us. And so I just kind of wanted to bring that idea of just like how interesting it would be to sort of bring a different perspective on the extraterrestrial story. Like it's always like horror film. And I kind of wanted to sort of tease you into thinking that it is that, but it's really not. Basically, if you watch the video, she does crash land at the beginning. She's on a mission to recover the red exotic object or extraterrestrial object. And that's sort of basically saying that humans shouldn't be having that technology, that we're too reckless, and also sort of a representation or a symbol that this ball is like nuclear weapons and that we don't deserve to have nuclear weapons based on how we act and treat each other as this warfaring race. And so that's kind of the premise of the story and what it means. My character is basically, I haven't really explained this, but in my head, the backstory is that Kosmonic had a near-death experience. And when he crossed over, he wasn't the same when he was brought back to life. So he had a near-death experience and he went to the other side. And that's why I wrote Afterlife. I'll get to that in another video. And then because you've seen the other side, you're kind of more attuned to things like extraterrestrials or the supernatural, and that they're really not supernatural. They're really more a part of nature that human beings are more or less not ready to tap into. Some people can, some people can't. I believe in the supernatural. There's just too many people I've talked to and met to know better. And I think for the people that are skeptics of the supernatural, you just haven't experienced it yet. So until you have an experience, you won't understand what I'm talking about. It's the only way. And I'll get into that into another video about why I started Kosmonic and this intertwining of the supernatural and the divine and how they're really one and the same. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed some of the behind the scenes of how I made it. I just didn't even think this was going to be a music video. I just kind of thought it was going to be for TikTok or Instagram, and it just turned into a whole music video. And God, it was just so much more work than I thought it would be. But I'm glad I did it. I'm really grateful for all the people that helped out. I couldn't have done it without all my friends and people to make this video happen. Again, I want to shout out to Billy Rood, Madeline Schwartz, Emma Sam, Austin Collins, James Wilson, Matt O'Connor, and Ruben. And yeah, all my friends who have just been a huge support and trying to make this happen. So, and I appreciate you. If you watched to the end of this video, I appreciate you watching. Yeah, please, check out my Patreon for more new music that hasn't been released yet. It's like $3 a month. And yeah, I just really greatly appreciate it. If you like my music, to check me out there. I do have some new music that I'm going to be planning to release in 2025. Actually, Valentine's Day will be the first one. And then we'll see what happens after that. So thanks for watching and stay tuned for some other videos. Peace.